Yesterday, I was listening to a speaker, and they mentioned the famous quote of everything that you want is outside of your comfort zone. And I've heard this so many times in the coaching space. And while I don't think it's wrong per se, I have a number of thoughts on it and what it actually looks like to move forward in life in a way that is in partnership with our nervous system when it comes to doing things outside of our comfort zone. So I want to share some of these thoughts with you guys. So let's talk about comfort zones. So I'm going to, let's let this represent your comfort zone. Okay, so we all have one of these. And it's interesting that I think in general, the way that comfort zones are talked about, it's as if they are inherently bad or negative, and they are not. The way, whenever I hear comfort zone, what I reinterpret comfort zone as is safety. And this isn't about if you are actually safe or not. What this is about is these are the things, these are the activities, this is what your brain and nervous system know to be safe. Okay? These are the things that we know to be safe. This is where we are comfortable. This is where we are comforted. And the part of your brain that is interested with your survival would like for you to stay here. And that makes sense. You have sections of your brain that's entire job is to keep you alive. And if the point is to keep you alive, we do that by staying here where it is safe. Now, this saying that everything you want is on the other side of your comfort zone, probably not all. There are plenty of things that I want that are inside my comfort zone, but there are some things that I want that are not. And the thing is, one of the things that is typically outside of anyone's comfort zone, if we have a brain that's functioning the way we want it to, are things that are unfamiliar. If something is unfamiliar, it is considered unsafe. And this makes sense, right? We have a brain that's like, what do we know is safe? What is known is safe. What is unknown, we're not really sure what is going to happen there. So the survival part of our brain is stay here where it's safe, but often the thing that we want, it's brand new, it's unfamiliar, it's something we haven't done before, right? It's doing something new in our life, and it is outside of our comfort zone. Now, when we don't have respect for this as a beautiful and healthy thing that the brain is doing, when we see it inherently as bad or as a problem, and we hear quotes like, everything you want is on the outside of your comfort zone, what I see is people, one, make themselves bad or wrong for the fact that they have a comfort zone in the first place, and for the fact that they have thoughts and emotions that make them want to stay here. Okay? They get angry at it, they judge it, they're mad at themselves, they wish that it would go away. And then what they do is they work themselves up, right? It's like, okay, this thing that I want, it's outside of my comfort zone. And it's like they go from being in safety to like launching themselves like way out here, way outside of their comfort zone, and almost like put up a fence of like, you're out there and you're not allowed back in. Like sink or swim, honey. Like you're on your own now. You can't possibly be in your comfort zone because you're never going to succeed there. And people disregard the beauty of the nervous system. And the problem with this, when you understand how nervous systems work, your nervous system has an important job in keeping you safe. And when we disregard it, it doesn't go away, it gets louder. It gets louder. And what I see is when people completely disregard this and they force themselves to stay in a place where they are uncomfortable and they are outside of their window of tolerance and they are outside of their comfort zone, most of the time, they reach a point where they cannot handle it. Okay? And the nervous system is saying, like, come back here where it's safe. And it gets louder and louder and louder. And over time, it becomes detrimental to their mental health and emotional health and physical health, and we get burnt out. Okay, this does not work, and I think it fundamentally comes from misunderstanding and misjudging this call to safety. Guys, this is beautiful, the fact that we have a comfort zone and a safety zone and that we have a brain that does this, okay? But it does not change the fact that much of what we want is outside of this comfort zone, and it does require going into unfamiliar territory. So what is a better way to do this? The way that we do this is not by throwing ourselves outside of it in a sink or swim sort of way. It's about figuring out what is the edge of my comfort zone. Not the part that throws me so far over the edge that I can't handle it, but like, what is like right here? Like, what is the thing that is just one step outside of my comfort zone? It's not way out here. It's not in this like such foreign territory that my nervous system is going to fire alarm bells. It's just a baby step outside of my comfort zone. What is that like here? And can I take a teeny tiny step outside of my comfort zone to this zone and then come back to safety and comfort? Can I come back to comfort? And when you recognize that this is a healthy place to be, this is the place where your nervous system is regulated and you feel safe, we can do this dance. We can go and we can do something that is brave and bold and new and scary and pushes us outside of our comfort zone just a little, but not so far that we can't handle it, not so far that we can't self-regulate, not so far that we are completely disregarding our body's signals. But in that way of like, we know with our logical brain that this thing, it does feel scary to the nervous system that is only focused on safety because it's unfamiliar, but we're not actually safe, but we partner together. We take one baby step outside of the comfort zone. We lean into the edge of what feels safe. We take a step over, we do the thing, we take the action. It's brave and it's bold, and then we come back. We come back and we comfort and we regulate and we do things that feel good to our nervous system, and then we do it again. And then we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again. And when we do it this way, where we are working with what our nervous system, and this is not true for everybody, everybody's nervous system is unique. When you go right to the edge of your nervous system and you partner with it, baby step outside and then come back in, what happens over time is this thing that was unfamiliar, okay, this thing that right now is outside of your comfort zone, what happens is you gently expand it. And this thing that was so scary that like you couldn't imagine doing, suddenly this is now part of your safety zone. It's not unfamiliar anymore. You've gently done it a number of times in a way that did not cause your nervous system to freak out and get louder, but in a way that helped it get quieter because you gently taught it that this thing was actually safe and it was actually okay. And then what we do is we find the next thing that is outside of our comfort zone, the next thing that is unfamiliar, and we lean into this edge. And whenever that becomes familiar, we lean into the next edge. And over time, your comfort zone expands. And that thing that you want that is outside of your comfort zone, you get it. You still get there, but you do it in a way that is partnering with your nervous system and not throwing you outside of what you're able to handle. And so much of this comes down to being compassionate for the fact that you are a human being. You are not a robot. And your nervous system, your brain, your journey is unique. And I heard an analogy recently that I found was so powerful. The speaker was talking about how many of us are, some of the work that we're doing to reach these goals that are outside of our comfort zone, it was like you were hiking up a mountain, okay? You're going up a mountain and it's hard and it's difficult and we're doing something brand new and it's what we want, but it's difficult. And he was like, at the top of this mountain, it's snow-capped. There's a snow-capped peak at the top. And what you notice is there are no footprints in the snow. There are no footprints in the snow because your family and your experience, like you don't have anybody to look to. There's nobody that's gone before you. There's nothing to fall back on. Like you're really charting new territory. And so many of my clients, this is what's true of them. I work with cycle breakers. I work with people who have been in situations that are unhealthy, and they are going and they are doing something brand new. And it's not something where they can be like, oh yeah, like my whole family's did this. I have so much experience with this. This is so familiar. Like everyone that I know is doing this kind of work. For many of them, the things that they are doing that are unfamiliar and outside of their comfort zone, it's really genuinely something that is unfamiliar on every single level, okay? And it's breaking out of long-standing patterns. And when we look at this and we judge it, there's no space for compassion for our unique journey. So, yes, many of the things that you want may be on the outside of your comfort zone, but that does not mean that your comfort zone is bad. All this is the edge of which your current brain and nervous system know what is safe. This is what it knows to be safe as of right now. If you disregard it, if you push yourself too fast, too far, a lot of times we end up in burnout because we have not built up the skills and the resiliency to enter into those things. But if you will find the edge of your comfort zone and lean into it gently and take a baby step outside of it and then come back to safety and do that on repeat, what you will find is that over time you expand the edges of what is familiar and comfortable to you, and more becomes possible in a day and in a month and in a year than was possible yesterday. Sometimes this really looks, guys, like just slowing down and making space for ourselves to be human. Okay? Comfort zones are not bad. They are there to keep you safe. Partner with it, work together, and you will get so much farther than if you try to simply disregard it.